where you found your voice and what's your advice for finding your voice? And how did things start to change when you started to build an audience for yourself when you were able to tour?
Um, I always thought, and maybe people listening probably still think this, I always thought this finding your voice thing was a myth. When I was starting off, I was like, yeah, it's like going to India as a backpacker to find yourself. It's all a lot of shit. I didn't know finding your voice was a thing until it gradually happened. And I think it's quite a simple thing. Because when you start off doing comedy, me anyway, you write and deliver whatever jokes you can. Any jokes that come to your head that you work on, uh, you go, right, I'm delivering this because I've only got a 5 minute set. I can't be choosy. So whether the joke is something that you could imagine being delivered by Jack D or by Tim Vine or by whoever, it doesn't matter. I'm delivering the joke because I wrote the thing and it's mine, so I'm delivering it. And then what I think was the finding your voice part was after I had built up a lot of material, I started looking at my material to see which jokes suit my face and voice the best. Which ones uh, uh, can you imagine being delivered by this product? And they're the ones I started to keep, and I started to get rid of the other ones, even though some of them I thought, oh, that's a nice joke. But I thought that would be delivered better by someone else. That's somebody else's style. It's not really my style. And I started doing stuff that only suits uh, the way I look and the way I talk. And I found that was then becoming my voice, I guess, because the voice is your material, how you say it, and what you look like. I think those three things make your voice. And then when I started refining my material to only the stuff that suits my voice, uh, it became a lot easier because I started writing for that rather than writing anything and just putting in the ones that suit that. I started writing towards that. And then as an audience, like you asked the second part of your question here, as the audience kind of get drawn to that, you might get people going, yeah, this kind of thing pisses me off too. And this comedian talks about being pissed off by the same thing I'm pissed off by. Then it becomes a little bit easier again because the audience start laughing at how you think and what you're thinking as much as they're laughing about what you're saying. So if I go up on stage and there's 50 people in the room who know me, and I say I was late for the bus and there was a slow walker ahead of me, a lot of people might start giggling at the fact that they know I despise a slow walker on the street. Whereas if I'm in New York and nobody has seen me in their whole life and I've just walked onto the stage fresh and I say there was a slow walker ahead of me, they're like, okay, come on, where's the joke? Because we're not laughing at what you're thinking here because we've no idea what you're thinking because we don't know who you are. So I think finding your voice and finding the audience that thinks a little bit like you kind of makes for an easier writing process because, like I said, I think you can write towards what you're thinking rather than what you're saying. I think Larry David does this very well in Curb Your Enthusiasm. When something happens to Larry, if somebody's slow in front of him in the cupcake shop, somebody is tasting lots of you're laughing immediately because you're like, "Oh, I know this is going to piss Larry off." So you're immediately laughing at what he's thinking, and he hasn't even said a word. That's because he's painted his voice so well for us over the years that he doesn't even need to make a joke. We know what he's thinking. And I think that's the benefit of not just finding your voice, but finding your audience as well and having the two of those things come together.
And with comics that, because I sometimes see it in comedy where a lot of people are trying to, some people, a small number, are trying to be like comics they've seen rather than what they find funny or their own thing. And they're worried about not being booked by certain clubs if they do a certain kind of comedy. And if they had that kind of reservation, what would you say to them?
Well, I don't think you can rush finding your voice. Like I think, and I started off writing every kind of a joke. Whatever I thought was funny went into my set, like I said. But I think finding your voice just happens to you. If you do it for, I don't know, 5 years, you'll have found your voice in 5 years. It's just a time thing. It's not, I don't think it's a technique thing or anything. It's just a time thing and you just gradually see it happening. Whereas if you if you do comedy for 6 months and you're like, okay, what's my voice going to be? Am I going to be this guy, this guy, this guy? That's fine. Whatever gets you over your first few shows, because they're hard enough at the best of times, whatever gets you over those. But if I guarantee if you do comedy for 5 years, in year 4, year 5, you'll have found your voice. So I wouldn't even worry about it. It's just something that's gradually going to happen. It's like planning on getting old. There's no point. That's got to look after it.